When I first started camping, I had no idea that the decision where to camp could so completely change the experience that I had. I just knew that I wanted to go camping. So there are lots of different places that you can camp. But when I'm planning a trip, these are the 3 different options that I tend to consider the most, and it's what we're going to talk about today. State parks, national parks, and national forest camping. After years of solo camping, now I can fully appreciate the options and then just choose the ones that I love the most and that work best for me. Oddly enough, the option that I choose the most often is one that I really didn't know anything about when I first began my solo adventures. So if you're trying to figure out where to camp, especially if this is your first time, then I'm going to share how I think about these 3 different options and then how I decide which ones work best for me in different situations. Hey there, I'm Bing from Wonder Bing Travel, and Lexi, my golden, and I have been camping for a lot of years now. Today, we're inviting you along with us. Let's go. So let's start by talking about state parks. I love state parks, first of all, and there are a lot of reasons why. One of them is that they are in every single state across the US, and more often than not, you know what you're getting into when you are choosing a state park. Let me explain a little bit about how I use state parks and why I choose them. So when I am planning a road trip, especially a longer one, I'm typically going from Pennsylvania on the East Coast and driving either all the way south, all the way north, or all the way west. And once I have my general basic route kind of figured out, then the next thing that I do is to start choosing state campgrounds that are sort of along my route. And there are quite a few reasons that I do that. First of all, I do want to say they're typically not like my ultimate destinations. They are super convenient and lovely places to stay along the way. Our state park systems have so much to offer, and these are just some of the reasons why I choose to use them. So first of all, from an ease standpoint at home, they have wonderful websites where you can really see what you're getting before you go. And the reservation system is usually pretty clear and cut and dried, and you can do it online. Some of them you can just pay when you get there if you want to do first come, first serve. So you just have to check into them and see what their policies are. Other things that you'll find in state parks are very often a camp store or maybe a ranger station, which is really handy if you're going to be hiking and want to know more about what's going on. Easy access to firewood that way. A lot of times there's a camp host that you can talk to. And they typically are very well maintained, have good bathrooms, well lit in the places that you'd want them to be, showers, all those kinds of things. So you're getting some amenities when you choose a state campground. And I love that when I am traveling, especially like on an overnight and then I'm leaving the next day and leaving the next day, I need what I need. I want it to be great. I don't need it to be spectacular, but I want it to be serviceable and really pretty and comfortable, and a state park affords me all of those things. A few other reasons that I will choose state parks is also because they are populated in that there are people around, but typically a state park is going to give you a little bit of space between your neighbors, and it feels comfortable to me. I feel like I'm not, to make the analogy of houses, I'm not in a townhouse. I'm in a neighborhood where the houses are definitely, maybe 100 feet to 200 feet away, not right on top of me, and not a million miles away either. But it's comfortable. Maybe my number one reason for choosing state campgrounds is that they almost always have great hiking trails in them, whether it's just a circumference around the park, or a lot of them have beautiful lakes and other amenities where you can explore. And I love that about it, because for me, exercise is an important part of my daily routine. And I love arriving in a campground and doing a big walk and then getting up the next morning and Lexi and I getting to do a hike together. That's all important too. When I was first starting out, these are the ones I could figure out the easiest initially, because you can go into them and there's instructions and there's people to help you, and it just feels comfortable. And if you're not a camper and you're starting out, the whole thing can feel pretty intimidating because it's a whole subculture that you feel like you don't know anything about. A lot of state parks also have their own attractions, like I said. So they might have beautiful streams or waterfalls or a lake. And another super important part to me is that most state park campgrounds are dog friendly, or at least part of them are dog friendly. And that's obviously a big piece of it for me. I want to drive away the next day, most likely, thinking that what a fun and lovely stop that was, that it checked the boxes that I needed it to check, that I'm ready to move on for another day and I'm well rested, and being there enhanced my trip. It didn't hinder it in any way, and that I'm clean and exercised and ready to go. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of absolutely show-stopping state parks out there that I have fallen in love with. And while I may have been passing through, I will go back again and again because I just love them so much. There are truly many state parks out there that are worth a longer visit. So to summarize all of that, I would say that when I want the easiest and the most straightforward camping experience, I start by looking at state parks. So once you've chosen a campground, the next question becomes how to choose a campsite within the campground. I've done an entire video on exactly how I go through that process, and I will put that link here, and it will also be below if you're interested. When people who are taking maybe their first solo road trip ask for advice about camping, I almost always point them to state parks as a great first experience. And if you're in that stage where you are still beginning to figure out your first solo road trip, then I think you might really enjoy my Going Solo Quick Start Guide. It's a free guide that I created to walk people through some of the things that I wish that I had known when I was starting out. The link is below. So state parks are fantastic, but sometimes what I'm looking for is more than a dependable overnight stop along the way. Sometimes I'm looking for a destination. Our national parks are a treasure, and we have Teddy Roosevelt to thank for that. They exist because the land they sit on is exceptional. So it may be because they're gorgeous, like Yosemite, or maybe fascinating and full of wonder, like Yellowstone, for example, or majestic, like the Grand Canyon, or maybe even like a little creepy, like the Everglades. Like most people, I choose national parks because I'm planning to visit the park itself and likely stay a bit to explore. The park itself is the destination in many cases. The planning process is really different than it is for a state park because very rarely can you just show up at a national park campground and find a spot. They are super busy places, especially in the summer, and most of them take reservations now up to 6 months in advance. So in my planning, if I know that on my trip west, for example, I want to stay in a particular national park, then I need to be thinking about that several months in advance to ensure that I can find a campsite. I just peeked this morning, for example, and it's late May, and there is pretty much zero availability in Grand Teton National Park for this summer. So in my experience, I have found that camping in a national park is quite a different experience in many ways than state park camping. So here are some things that I've learned, and these help me determine how to figure out all the moving parts when I want to go camping at a national park during a solo road trip. So first of all, let's talk about cost. Very often, camping in a national park is going to be more expensive than a state park. So especially at the popular parks, you can expect to pay almost $100 in some cases, but there are some that you can find in the $20 to $30 range depending on what part of the country you're in and the time of year that you're doing it. So here's a really great thing though, you're in the national park. I know that's obvious, but that's what your plan was. You're in the destination, you're already there. You don't have to fuss with a timed entry if you're trying to visit for the day. You wake up and you're already there. And I promise you, you're in a pretty spectacular place. And therefore, you have access to all of the park things. So whether it's hiking, boating, fishing, swimming, sightseeing, whatever you came for, the history, it's all right there. And national park campgrounds tend to have really nice amenities. That means very often nice showers and fully functional, electricity and bathrooms and all those kinds of things. Way more than camping is available as well in terms of sometimes there's lodges and there's yurts and there are cabins that you can rent. So way more options. One other thing I really appreciate about national park campgrounds is that there's always a good host right there in the campground on hand if you need them. And they come around and check and tell you what you need to know. I kind of love that as a solo camper. So national park camping also comes with a few trade-offs for how I personally love to camp the most. And while these aren't true all the time, they are pretty typical examples in my experience. And the first one is, in my experience, campgrounds in national parks tend to be a little bit closer quarters. They're trying to get more sites in the area and more people in. So I'm a little closer to other people than I'd like to be. And the other thing is that most of them, while the campground is dog friendly, the park is not. So that means Lexi cannot go hiking with me, therefore I'm not going hiking in most, not all, but in most national parks. And they are restricted to areas where only cars can go. So if you can't take your car there, you can't take your dog there in many national parks. And that's a bummer. I totally understand it, but it definitely affects my choices sometimes. So when I'm camping in a national park, I'm choosing it for the spectacular destination, not necessarily because the camping experience itself is my absolute ideal personally. And don't get me wrong, I will absolutely stay in national parks almost every year. But eventually I realized that I didn't have to actually stay inside the park to experience everything I came to see. So here we are at my favorite. When I think about road tripping, especially in the western and in the mountain states, my mind immediately goes to the beauty and wonder of national forests. I learned quite a few years ago that national forests are often where I find the balance that I'm actually looking for when I'm solo camping. So I don't seek these out for the quick overnight like a state park campground might afford, but they do often provide the incredible beauty of a national park. The thing that's really cool is that they don't have all the people, and almost always the price is so much less. So national forests are the happy place that I have found along the way. Let me give you a whole bunch of reasons why I choose them very often and the situations I choose them in. I can definitely say that national forests are my sweet spot. So it's rare that I have to make a reservation, which I really love. And I almost always find a spot. So you don't have to plan ahead. And if I'm going to be driving through that area, and let's say I turned out really loving it a lot, then I'll find out if there is a national forest campground and park myself there for a few days. I should note that they are not everywhere. They're not in every state. They're in 40 different states. But some of them, like even my own state of Pennsylvania, there are not a lot of national forest campgrounds in my state, even though we have a good amount of forest land. In my experience, the best national forest campgrounds tend to be in the mountain states and in the far west. So here are some of the wonderful things, I think, and why I choose these campgrounds over and over again. First of all, they're very inexpensive, occasionally free, but usually there is some sort of charge, and it's nothing you're gonna be able to use a card for, so it's gonna have to be a check or cash usually. The sites themselves are definitely more spacious and there's far fewer people around, but there still are people. And for me, that's a good balance. Also, they're dog friendly. And because I travel with Lexi the Golden, I also think about what kind of environment is going to work better for her. National forests often give us a little more space, a little less traffic, and then a more relaxed camping experience for sure. And very often a lake or a stream for her to swim in, which is her #1 priority in camping. So when you're traveling with your dog, you gotta think about food for you, but also food for your pup. And this is where, for me, BJs Raw dog food comes in. I've learned many years ago that kibble is not good for dogs. It is just processed food. And why would we give our dogs processed food every day? We know not to do that to ourselves, so why would we do it for dogs? So BJs Raw Pet Food has been such a lifesaver. They are a company that believes that to feed like nature intended. So everything in this bucket is either fresh meat or fresh vegetable or fresh fish. You don't have to take my word for it. Obviously, Lexi loves it. And you can get 25% off your entire BJs Raw Pet Food order using the link below. Let me share a few other things that I really appreciate and love about National Forest land. And I realize it's not for everybody, but this is why I choose it. I still have a bathroom, but it's usually just a vault toilet. That's all I need, that's fine. There are rarely showers in a National Forest campground, but I can do that for a day or two. They often still have camp hosts, which I always appreciate, and you can still buy your firewood that way for sure, and you can still get a table and they still provide a fire ring, so you still have like a traditional campsite set up. It has a more traditional camping feel to it. It's what I imagine camping to be like when I think about it. And of course, everybody's imagination is different, but that's what I get for sure. Sometimes it is near national parks. So I love that I can stay in a national forest, but be really close to a national park. So I'm saving a ton of money that way, and I'm camping the way that I like to camp. They can be more off the beaten path. I tend to really like that if it's an area that I'm enjoying. There's also usually great scenery in national forest campgrounds and fantastic hiking. And sometimes I think that may be why the campground exists, is because of all the fantastic hiking trails that are around them. So if that's your thing, this might be a great marriage of things for your camping experiences also. The last big perk that I want to share, at least for me personally, is that they surprise me every time because I never quite know what it's going to look like because I've not sketched that ahead of time. I'm already in a gorgeous place, and then, oh my gosh, here's this campground, and then I go in and I'm like, this is fantastic. So they surprise me every time, and I love that. Also, I want to add that I have found some of the most incredible hidden wonders and personally, I guess, spectacular experiences in national forests and national forest campgrounds. They totally fit my style. They're laid back, they're quiet, they're dog friendly, they're affordable, and there are just enough people around to make me feel comfortable. So after years of solo camping, I've found that the question isn't which one of these experiences is best. The question is more, what kind of experience am I hoping to have? They all contribute something different. They all have something different to offer, which is why in the course of a road trip, I usually still end up choosing all three. So if you're trying to decide where to camp, here's a simple way that you can think about it. So if you're looking for the easiest first camping experience, I would recommend a state park. If you're looking for a bucket list scenery, then I would recommend a national park. And if you're looking for a more solitude, lower cost, and still beautiful scenery, national forest. The good news is that there isn't a wrong choice, and the more that you camp, the more you're going to discover what works for your own travel style and the kind of adventures that you really want to have. So I'll leave you with a bunch of additional camping videos that will help you get started with your solo adventures. And Lexi and I hope that we will see you on the road and in the campground.